All right, everybody, welcome to today's personal development lesson. I am your host, Joel Dunn. Today, we are going to be going over something that is super uncomfortable. I know you've probably seen the title and you're like, yeah, I think I might want to just skip out on this one. I don't really want to go over this lesson. And this one we're going to be titling The Power of Staying Uncomfortable. So here's the thing. Growth doesn't live in comfort. It's rented in discomfort, and rent is due daily. I know you've heard a quote similar to that, but just think about that. Growth is uncomfortable. Think about the term growing pains. When you're young and you're growing, you are actually going through a process of not being the same, getting bigger, changing. Your body tends to ache. That's why they call it growing pains. Your personal development, your leadership development is no different. So today I want to start with a question. When was the last time you truly felt uncomfortable? Not just busy, not just stretched. I mean, your stomach's in knots, butterfly, you're throwing up in your mouth a little bit. Your mind is arguing with you and your comfort zone is screaming, get me out of here. That kind of uncomfortable. Because here's the truth. You can't become who God called you to be while staying who you've always been. Because every next level of your life demands a new version of you, one that is willing to live in the stretch, in the pain. So, number one, comfort is the silent killer of your potential. The most dangerous place that you can live is not poverty. I know, because Stephanie and I have gone through that. It's in your comfort. The enemy of great is good. So if you stay in good, comfort tells you you've done enough. It convinces you that you're safe when you're actually stuck. Leaders die in comfort because comfort removes urgency. When you get too comfortable, you stop becoming, and then you are the most that you've ever become. When your potential is beyond where you currently are. You know, the quote from John Shedd is, a ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were built for. So think about this. Comfort will never prepare you for who God called you to be. Think about it. Look at all the stories in the Bible of the greats. They were never comfortable. They went from being who they were to who God called them to be by going through stuff and things, not avoiding those things. They had to go through it. So number two, pressure reveals what is real. Pressure doesn't make diamonds, it reveals them. You know, everyone says they want to grow until God allows pressure to show what's really on the inside. Then you start really questioning those prayers. You know, when life gets hard, most people just want to escape. They want to bury their head. Leaders want exposure because what's revealed can be refined. Pressure shows you where your habits, emotions, and faith really stand. A perfect quote for this one is Albert Einstein, you know, adversity induces a man to himself. So you don't know who you are until adversity hits. Then you get to see deep down, do you have the grit? Do you have the desire? Do you have the want? Is your why big enough? Because adversity introduces you to who you truly are. So here's the thing. You hear this quote all the time. And it's like, stop asking for God to make it easier. Start praying for stronger shoulders. Start praying that you are better. Because the seasons are always going to come and they're always going to go. The question is, are you going to get better in and through each season? Number 3, guys, I'm sorry to tell you this one, but growth has a price tag, and it's pain. Pain is the tuition for purpose. You can't get the diploma of your destiny without paying for it through discomfort, through, like we said, that feeling of uncomfortableness, of throwing up in your mouth a little bit, of uneasiness, of being nervous, of actually being fearful and afraid. But the thing is, you have to have the faith and the action and the courage to get through it. The reason so many people quit before their breakthrough is because they think pain means they're off track. The answer to that is no, it's not. Pain is the confirmation you're in the process. Because there is no comfort in the growth zone. No growth in the comfort zone. You can't have both. It's one or the other. You're either growing and uncomfortable, or you're in comfort and you're not growing. So think about this. If it doesn't stretch you, is it strengthening you? When you're working out, you have to stretch beyond. You have to push more weight. You have to hurt the muscle fibers. You have to tear them in order for them to repair and to strengthen. Same thing is true with your personal development, with your leadership development, with stepping into your purpose. You have to go through things that are going to stretch and hurt and cause pain in order to build up the strength and resiliency you need for that next level of your life. So number 4, stretch until it becomes normal, until it becomes a part of your rhythm, until it becomes second nature for you, almost like a habit or discipline. At first, discomfort feels foreign. You don't like it, you don't want it. But if you stay in the stretching long enough, it becomes a part of your standard. It becomes part of that bar that you've set for yourself, that you know that you're constantly going to be there, and it becomes easier. Every high performer you admire has mastered the cycle of stretch, adapt, repeat. Stretch, adapt, repeat. Stretch, adapt, repeat. Guys, it's one of those things that is a cycle that when you master it, it creates a completely different life, a completely different world for you, because that's how capacity is built. What once felt like impossible for you becomes automatic when you start living in the tension between what is and what could be. Because let's face it, we think a lot of things are impossible. But what I would challenge you to do is look to people that made it feel possible. Maybe it was impossible to them once too, but it was only impossible until they did it. And then that rewired their brain to start thinking of possibilities instead of impossibilities. So the stretch becomes a part of your superpower when you stop running from it. When you start running towards it, now you're creating that resiliency to become and do more. And then number 5, the reward is mastery, not ease. If you're hoping to get out of this life easy, I'm sorry to tell you that's not going to happen. Life is always going to be hard. The question is, are you going to choose to chase ease and constantly look for it and have it escape you and have you be constantly frustrated? or are you going to chase excellence? Because high performers and winners, high performers and winners chase excellence. Because ease doesn't make you great. Mastery does. You don't hear people talking about the greats of ease. No, you talk about the masters, the people that were high performers, the people that had success. And when you hear and read about their stories, I don't think you ever heard about anybody having a cakewalk life. It always starts with something bad happened. They addressed it. They looked at it. They went towards it. They got better because of it. They built resiliency. They did the things to push themselves further than receding into themselves. So when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing your calling, everything shifts. It's one of those things Bruce Lee said, don't pray for an easy life. Pray for strength to endure a difficult one. The goal isn't to have less pressure. It's to have more power, more control, more discipline, more peace, more joy in spite of pressure. I'm going to say that again. You need to have it all in spite of being under pressure, because pressure is going to create who God called you to be. So to recap again, comfort is a silent killer of your potential. Pressure reveals what's truly real. Growth has a price tag, and that price tag is pain. Stretch until it becomes normal to you. And remember that the reward is mastery, not ease. So this week, I want you to try something. Try to make one thing that makes you uncomfortable and then do it on purpose. I know you've probably got a long list of things. I have a long list of things that I like to avoid, that I like to put off. It's one of those things that it's human nature to avoid pain. So pick one thing that makes you uncomfortable. Maybe start the conversation you've been avoiding. Make that call that you've been scared to make. Step into a room that intimidates you. Because the version of you that you've been praying for lives on the other side of that discomfort. Remember, there is a power in staying uncomfortable. And you have the ability to control that for you. Guys, I hope this helped. Make sure you tag somebody that you know needs to hear something like this. Share it with a friend. Guys, go out and make it an amazing day. And I hope your week is as awesome as you are.